Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Gingereno's Pillars of Eternity Let's Plays series. Thanks, everyone, for joining me today. This series of Let's Plays is a critical path playthrough of the Pillars of Eternity games. It's mostly an effort to showcase the world of Eora, at least in a brief way, for those who are excited for Avowed, but you're not really into playing these CRPG-style games, which I totally get. You only got so many hours in the world. Don't spend it playing games that you don't enjoy. But if you do want to know more about the world and you don't feel like playing it, you can watch these videos. That's the hope. This background we're here is actually an area of the world known as the White March. This is probably the town of Stalwart right there, but we're not going to get into that. Yeah, so that should be it. So let's just jump straight into today's episode. All right, here we are. Out in the... Oh, where is this again? It's Northwild. Here we are up in Northwild. For those who don't remember, we are looking for, I believe... Let's see here. Council of the Stars and Divine Favor. Hylia revealed a mountaintop temple beset by a terrible menace. And I believe, if I remember correctly, yes, we have learned this. Essentially... there is a dragon in Hylia's temple, and we have to go deal with it. Now, I almost certainly am going to not sure if I'm going to succeed, but we're going to try doing this anyways. A winding stair hugs the cliffside, providing an impressive view as you work your way higher and higher. Not too far along the path, however, you find your progress interrupted. A large boulder appears to have fallen onto the road from somewhere up above, and it now sits squarely in your way. Well, let's examine the area first. The boulder is nearly flush with the cliff face, preventing you from passing on that side. Along the edge of the cliff, however, there is a narrow space just wide enough to follow across the other side. The boulder's landing has crushed the steps beneath it, however. So I could try to step around, use a hammer and chisel, or push the boulder out of the way. I don't think anyone has the strength. If anyone does, it would probably be either Canna or Adair. Let's try it out. Adair heaves at the boulder, and after a few difficult moments, it starts sliding and rolling, halting across the cracked steps, then plunges over the side and away. You hear the echoing clatter of rocks tumbling down the side of the cliff. The sound seems to stir something overhead. A shadow crosses the path, quick as lightning, and vanishes before you can catch a glimpse of what has cast it. But you do see the rapidly growing silhouettes of several more rocks flung down from above. Scrambling to action, the party ducks under a small rocky protrusion along the cliff face, but Kana stumbles and is left just short of the shelter. A sudden hailstorm of fist-sized rock-scattered debris rains down upon them. Battered and bruised, Kana leaps the final distance to safety. After a short while, the thundering rumbles of falling stone fades away. At last, you find yourself at the base of a final twisting set of steps, above which you can see the towering pillars of Hylia's nest. Woohoo! Well, it looks like Kana has a concussion and some bruised ribs. Well, nothing a quick little campfire won't fix. Boom! Nothing. No problems anywhere. Here we are at the Temple of Hylia, which the map isn't really out yet, so you can't see anything. We're going to try to deal with the Sky Dragon.
The nest, Hylia's temple. This area was first slotted to appear in Allsong, the temple district of Tunnels, but then Bobby and I, during one of our many conversations about how to spread our world map's locations, sort of decided that it was a cool idea to have it appear elsewhere. From the start, this place was meant to be an open-air shrine, right? It's, after all, the shrine of the goddess of the sky and the birds. So at first, this was supposed to happen atop a tower, but after our decision, I blocked this out as a temple nested on a mountain peak. April Giron immediately loved the block art and said, "Oh, hey, you know what? I really like that." And I replied, "Cool. Want to take a stab at it?" The result was a fantastic scene, really. Whenever people feel really passionate about something, it's best to let them run with it and see where it goes.
Nice. Developer commentary in the upper right-hand corner. Whenever you see that, there might be spoilers, so if you don't want to have spoilers ahead of when we get there in the Let's Play, just feel free to scrub ahead until that's gone. Yeah. Little bit of management of our stronghold way back at Caed Nua. It seems that... Oh yeah, it seems that we are done with our last project, so I can now issue a new project. Now, a lot of these require a main keep. and a Bailey and all this stuff. So actually, let's just purchase the main keep for 1,400 copper pieces. That'll get done while I'm sitting here exploring. And one other thing that we like to do here on the World of Eora Gingereno Let's Play is we like to take a look at the lore for the world as we play the game. But what I was hoping to do, I have an entry I want to read, but let's see if I can unlock it first. Here we are at the Temple of Hylia, Hylia being the goddess of birds, song, creativity, and the arts. She's one of the more token good gods, if you know there is such a thing as a token good god. Let's quick save here, and I know why. Because, oh, that's the symbol of Hylia right there in the middle, by the way. That's an egg with wings, and that just looks cool. Sky Dragon! Yes! Whew.
And now the fun begins.
Yes, Sagani, of course. As you reach the summit of the mountain, a gust of wind stirs the air. You hear a noise like the snapping of sails, and the sky is briefly blotted out. A dragon lands before you, shaking the ground beneath your feet. It draws itself up to its full height and spreads its wings, barring your passage. Its neck, its back, and the ridge of its spine are covered with magnificent plumage. So what we have here, as we will soon see, is it's a sky dragon, and dragons tend to take on what will we say, a physical manifestation. Like their physiology will kind of represent the environment around them. So the sky dragon is kind of represented by the sky, and you can see this with the plumage. It's got like kind of like bird feather plumage on its body, this like reptilian dragon. And again, that's because dragons, they take on the environment around them. So this dragon living in the sky will be around birds a lot, so it kind of looks like that. Also color blue of the sky and all that other stuff. We can learn more about them if I unlock the dragon entry for the lore. Let's see how this goes. It hisses at you. Well, that's unfortunate. It hisses at you, and while the sound is unlike any language you've ever heard, the beast's meaning is utterly clear.
Vermin invading my nest, threatening my hatchling. You shall feed my young.
A small worm crouches in the corner of the temple behind the dragon. A worm is like a babyer dragon. Sky dragon's talking means it's a relatively intelligent creature. You have young here?
I will protect my last hatchling to the death, and that death will be yours, rodent.
You know, Hylia is actually the goddess of motherhood.
And of the sky and all winged creatures. Even my kind know of her.
Is that why you came here?
I came to care for my remaining hatchling. My kind requires territory. Few places are safe for our young. This is a lesson that cost me the rest of my brood.
So I have the option of attempting to tell her to stay, or I can try to tell her to leave. I'm going to attempt to tell her to leave, and we're going to see how that goes. And if she decides to attack me, I'll probably die, because I am underprepared, and I've been just sort of kind of carving through a critical path of this game, so she probably will destroy my unprepared ass, but we're going to try anyways. Ooh, you and your offspring will kill many if you stay. You have to leave. And heat from the beast's roar sears your face. It lashes in a flurry of scales and feathers. Alright. It's going to try to kill me. It's going to succeed. Even on story mode, this dragon's going to whoop me here.
Brave Dalfilathilim, bury me with my scrolls.
There we go. There we go. Took a little while there, but that's what we wanted. You know, really, I know because I've done this before. I have actually succeeded in taking her down once. I'm not the best at combat in this game.
Hey.
As you could tell, I was just sort of like letting it happen at the end there, just waiting for it to go. But like, I kind of knew I was not going to be able to beat her. Now, here are our options.
My, that is large.
Thank you, Kana. Like he's the person who says it this time. Our options.
Invading my nest, threatening my hatchling. You shall feed my young.
Is that actually talk her down in a way. I could try to convince her to leave, or I can tell her she gets to stay. So let's see where we're gonna go. Same
I
thing.
will protect my last hatchling to the death, and that death will be yours, rodent.
Hylia is the goddess of motherhood.
And of the sky and all winged creatures,
Is that
I came to care for my remaining hatchling. My kind requires territory. Few places are safe for our young.
Cool.
This is a lesson that cost me the rest of my brood.
So we know what this option leads to. Leads to a fight. And this being a quicker playthrough, I just want to showcase the lore and the setting more than anything else. I'm actually going to go with the first option. Then you should stay. Then you should stay. Raising your offspring here would honor Hylia. Which, by the way, personally, I agree with. Like, I don't think Hylia, in the way she organizes her faith, would actually want this mother of a dying race or breed or whatever to leave and risk having her kids die. I just don't think that that's a very Hylia thing to do. So
be it. Go then, and with my thanks.
End dialogue. So now I have to petition Hylia at Everon and Elm's Reach. So I got a vision from Hylia to deal with this dragon, presumably get rid of it. I've decided to let it stay on the basis of Hylian principles. So let's see if I can talk to the goddess Hylia and see where that goes. She might not give me favor. It's totally possible that she will not give me the favor, and then I have to talk to a new god and get their favor. It's very possible that that could happen. Just this little dialogue as you walk past people. Estra Morrowind, if we haven't covered that, is basically outsiders. These are all Glanfathan tribes people, and Estra Morrowind are people that are not from the Glanfathan tribes. Alright, so Hylia's over here. Gotta go talk to her. Let's pray to Hylia. You kneel. While you pray, you feel the space around your body shift and melt, and you find yourself in a vision of the mountaintop temple. Yet, you see neither worshippers nor a dragon, but a tree. Its limbs wrap around the perimeter of the temple, tapering into twigs and branches of all sizes and angles. They seem too long and too numerous to be held up by the meager trunk, but they hold steady in the breeze. A single sparrow lands on the nearest branch. It watches you. You whistle at the first tune that pops in your head. The sparrow blinks its beady eyes and hops closer to you along the branch. It bobs its tiny head and opens its beak, and the rich, trilling melody that spills forth is the song of a chorus of birds. A massive flock descends with a thundering of wings and whooping, screeching, chirping calls. They fill the boughs of the trees by the thousands, birds of every shape, size, and color nestling next to one another. Kana gazes up in astonishment. Birds from every corner of the world. Look, I see some Rawatai's razorbills. A breeze ripples through the air. The limbs sway, creaking with a strange, gentle rhythm. A few hundred of the birds flit from their branches, forming a brilliantly variegated flock in front of the tree. As they meet and swoop in unison, you catch a glimpse of someone looking back at you, cloaked by the flurry of feathers. Look there, the mantle of feathers. We are in the court of birds. And there stands the Sky Mother. So the Court of Birds. The Court of Birds is kind of like Hylia, the god, Hylia's domain. So we're in a sense either in or are having a vision of Hylia's actual plane of existence, her domain. And this is just one of the monikers she goes by.
You journeyed to my temple and found the dragon.
Yet instead of driving it off, you allowed it to stay. The songs of my faithful will never again fill the nest, and the beast and her young will slaughter many to feed their hunger.
Now, if I had a lore of 10, I could use something here to convince her that what I did was in line with her faith. But I don't have that. So now I have to use the other options. And I will say this for like an Obsidian game, if you pick wrong options, you will fail this. And then I now have to go find another god to get their favor. But if you familiarize yourself with Hylian faith, so by reading her her books and thinking about it for a while, you might be able to know what her values are and how to appeal to her. Dragons, like your birds, are creatures of the sky. Every life bears a cost, and she won it by might. I won't take it away from her. I believe you can use this second one down the line to convince her, but this one is a little bit more in line with Hylian principles. Dragons, like your birds, are creatures of the skies. Every life bears a cost.
Yes, and each should create wonders of commensurate value. What does a dragon create?
Hylia being the goddess of creation. So we have the option of fire, death, beauty, more dragons. More dragons. Big dragons create baby dragons. That's actually it's an enticing one to pick. Beauty is definitely one to think about. Beauty, great and powerful and colorful. They are a marvel to behold. Death, dragons bringing an end to what is old, what is weak, and what has run its course. And fire, it consumes, but it also powers creation. I don't want to say more dragons or death. It's in my mind, it's either fire or beauty. Beauty, great and powerful and colorful, they are a marvel to behold. They are not really creating anything here. I mean, like, more dragons, big dragons create baby dragons is close. It's got the word create in it, which is what she is actually asking. Just, I know, and me knowing Hylian lore, I know that there is more to Hylia than just making more babies. You know, there is also artistic song, and there is a vehement hatred towards just wanton death, which is what the dragon will bring. Like, Hylia is upset because her birds and her followers will not be in the temple singing songs anymore. So what is going to be in place of that? Now, I am tempted to say beauty, but I don't think that Hylia will agree that the dragon creates beauty. So we're going to go with fire, because it consumes, but it also powers creation.
Plumage of the sun, brilliant burning feathers of orange and yellow. In the sky it brings life, in the soul inspiration, and on the poet's desk, guidance. Your answer speaks of discernment, Watcher, of a soul that is a candle in darkness. Perhaps you could bring light to a place of shadows.
Look at that. So, success. We've got Hylia's blessing. So now I can request it, I suppose. I came to you for aid. I need to get to Sun in Shadow. The birds return to the tree and nestle among their peers. The breeze ripples through the branches again, carrying the goddess's voice.
Yes, but not only to stop Theos, to undo the tragedy he has wrought.
Birds all over the tree begin to chirp and sing, and in the rise and fall of their voices, Hylia speaks. Theos acts, but is moved by another. The exiled queen whispers in his ear, urging him to rob the living and the unborn of their souls for her benefit. And he has obeyed. The exiled queen, if you're familiar with the lore of the world, is a reference to Boudica, one of the other gods of this world. She is the exiled queen, the goddess of law and the goddess of oaths and promises. She goes by the name Oathbinder as well. Token bad guy god that is we'll actually learn a little bit more about her pretty soon, I imagine. But yeah, that's referencing one of the other gods of the world. And Theos is obeying this god's beckon to rob the living and the unborn of their souls for her benefit. We'll understand what that means pretty soon. A hawk shifts on its perch. She will consume them, grow powerful while 1,000 empty children are born. But there is still time to reverse this tragedy. So obviously we're talking about the Hollowborn crisis going on in the Deerwood right now, where children are being born without souls. And we've already learned that Theos is the one that's causing it, and now it seems he's doing it at Boudica's command. Why would Boudica do this? A pair of eagles shriek. Because she prizes authority over mercy, laws over kith, she values the souls of mortals not for the beauty they create, but for what they can add to her power. The wind blows cold. She fears animancy. She believes that mortals may use it to usurp the gods' power, her power. She cares nothing for the innovation of kith, and how could she? She gives commands, not inspiration. So, animancy truly is that powerful? Canna looks thoughtful. Oh, I've always respected the commands of our Ranganui and the Keepers, but that is because they inspire respect. Between command and inspiration lies progress. Couldn't you stop Theos on your own? All of the gods, even Woodica, are bound by an oath. We sing one harmony, and Kith sing another. And though we may introduce a new melody in hopes that mortal ears will hear it and sing it back, we do not interrupt their chorus. To do so would unleash a cacophony between the gods, one that would overwhelm our song and yours. Where this previous thing here, side note, it's referring to a long time ago the gods were roaming the planet, walking around and interfering with, the things of mortals, but they agreed a long time ago and bound themselves to this oath to, take more of a supervisory role, we'll say. They don't physically walk the world of Eora as much and interfere. They do, as she puts it, sing a new melody into ours in the hopes that we will adopt it. So essentially they're trying to guide us down the proper paths. It sounds like Theos has collaborated with her for a long time. You know already that he has lived many lives. In each it has been her voice in his ear, guiding him to serve her ambitions, urging him to protect her interests. Aloth's expression falls. This is what the Leaden Key has been? For centuries? The melody of the birds grow mournful, and each of his lives have been one stanza after another in a song of devotion to the Oathbinder, another name for Woodica. How could I return things to the way they were? The birds suddenly fall silent, watching you. The voice on the wind returns. Guide the trapped souls back to the bodies they were stolen from, hollow-born children whose eyes have never seen the sun. You could restore them, give them their families hymns of joy after years of lament. The breeze tickles your ears. Peace and restoration give purpose to suffering. There is no meaning, no redemption in pain that does not lead to fulfillment. Symmetry demands that great rejoicing follow suffering such as this. Thank you, Hylia. I will continue to sun and shadow.
When you reach the burial isle, you will find souls there that I have granted reprieve for their sins. I give these to you, for only they can bear you to safety on your journey down. And when you face Theos and the rotting fruits of his endeavors, remember the conversation we have had. In that moment, you will have power rivaling a god's. And after it, you will live in the world that you have chosen.
Which is a gamey way of saying you're going to have to make a choice.
Choose Restoration, Watcher. Return the souls to the bodies they were stolen from. Swear to me that you will do this, and I shall give you power to make even Woodica quake. I can be merciful and terrible, Watcher.
So now I have to swear fealty to Hylia. Now, if I had done the side quests for the other gods, they would be asking me to swear fealty to them and what I choose to do at the end of the game. And so I have to swear to one of them to get the promise. They'll also give me a boon as well. So I could actually promise to each of them that I will do what they want and get benefits for it. But then obviously I can only pick one thing at the end. So we'll see how this goes. I swear to return the souls of the Hollowborn children to the Hollowborn children of the Deerwood. And I shall remember. The dark wings snap shut, and the tiny sparrow flits to your shoulder. It tilts its head back and opens its beak, and the song that spills forth is like nothing you've ever heard. Melodies, at once mournful and beautiful, entrance you. The world becomes a place of pure color and sound. Each perfect moment follows the next, like the lines of a poem or the bar of a song. I have been granted Hylia's boon. As you awaken as if from a dream, standing at Ter Evron, Hylia's song and the power of her blessing follows you still. Hylia's boon. Does it say here what I get? Ah, here we go. Hylia's boon. +1 to lore and +1 to reception. There we go. Oh, some stuff's been going on here. I'm gonna auto resolve some stuff. Pay the debt. Can I upgrade? It's still being. Yeah, still being. Okay, sorry about that. Cool. So now I have to descend the pit at Berry Isle to reach Braeth Aemon, which, if we remember correctly, is basically a soul prison. Yeah. This is the symbol for Woodica, and obviously she's not there. She's actually been exiled, which is why she calls the Exile Queen, but it appears she's been talking to Theos. And the other one that's not here is Wow. It's a symbol for Wow. There's no response from Wow. He's kind of a goofball. Now, before we continue on, I want to see quickly if we have anything for... No, we didn't get anything for dragons because I didn't fight her from that save. That's all right. That is all right. Okay. Let us continue on. Let's continue. Oh, actually, I can talk to Durance. Let's see what Durance has to say.
You must...
Okay, whoops. There we go.
What is it, Watcher?
Does what we've learned about Woodica trouble you?
It stinks of her. It is justice, but if her greater purpose was to think Margaret would fall prey to such deceit. And Aethys, Widewin had always claimed to be invading Deerwood to free it. What if it were true? What if he had come to stop Woodica's plot before it began?
It's actually a good point.
Surely Aethys earned his death at Godhammer Citadel, but not for those reasons. Not to keep him silent. If such a thing has brought about this chaos...
Durance tilts his head as if listening to an inner voice. Then he frowns, the frowns deepening as he speaks.
Must we always be tools of gods? If Woodica and Margaret, if they are the cause of this, the Hollowborn, if the purges were never necessary, if Aethys was fighting back...
Then your Godhammer didn't save Deerwood. It doomed it.
So many lies. And Woodica, perhaps she is the next god to fall beneath the Godhammer.
Would it be better had you been spared this knowledge?
No, I am glad to have walked this far with you, seen this truth. Perhaps it was what I was meant to see, with a watcher's eyes. All these dances of words and intrigues, machines of men, twisted, ripping the souls of children, and by the gods, the goddess of justice. If I could end her like Aethys, Margaret burned her once. One can do so again. Woodica, she must answer to her own justice.
Justice or revenge?
Anyone with a shred of spirit seeks both justice and punishment. It burns in the heart of anyone who lives. All seek it. If the world does not balance, we all drown in the oceans. And the gods would not care. Margaret, she must be redeemed, and punishing Woodica, that will serve.
Do we know that Margaret was not a willing accomplice?
Is this some final joke at my expense? To test my faith further? And why would you think that, Watcher?
Because she didn't want anyone to know about the Godhammer being made. No one knows how it came to be except a few among Margaret, like yourself.
If all you have are questions, then I have enough of those. She is a bitch of a goddess, to be sure. But even a whore only goes so far in crossing those she serves.
You said you left Ashfall without telling anyone of your departure?
You answer a question with a question. Then why did I feel her disappointment at Halgot? Why were we shamed?
Because I think she tried to kill you there.
Kill me? She is a goddess. I still drink from her burning breasts, Watcher. If she wished me dead, she could trace me to my source and kill me.
In the dream of the Godhammer, your spirit looked blurred, indistinct in the light, as if it had been sheared from you. Durance stares at you, his expression frozen, but he's still silent, listening. If you had been damaged as I saw in the Godhammer vision, then she may be unable to see you as you once were. Durance turns from you for a moment, his face twists in thought, conflicting emotions running across his features. Finally, he turns to you, his face steady.
There's no proof, Watcher. I was a fool to think you could help me see any farther than I could.
I'm not certain, it's just a feeling I have.
That is all you have, a feeling. If feelings provoked me to say every thought that crossed my mind, get gone, and leave me to my thoughts.
Jeez, Durance freaking out a little bit. You're just having a crisis of faith. It's not a big deal. Moving on. Council of the Stars descend to the pit. Travel to Burial Isle. Okay, so time for me to move along. Oh, I did say I wanted to check these guys out, I think a long time ago. Okay, we gotta quickly stop here. This is... Whoop.
Stop right there.
Okay. I'm not moving. I guess I have to talk to you.
You're in the wrong city, Inquisitor. Did you think you wouldn't be recognized here in your old home? I've seen your trials with my own eyes.
Okay, it stops there. I have seen you light pyres with good people tied to them. People I'd know many a year. He seized you by the throat, and your airway tightens. Whether real or imagined, you cannot tell. They deserve your confession. He raised the point of his sword, holding it at a hair's breadth from your eye.
Suros, what are you doing?
Startled, the soldier releases you immediately and turns to face the speaker, a woman in plain wool tunic, fully a head shorter than he, but somehow seeming to tower over him. You haven't seen this woman's face before, but from afar, bloodied and burned, she lay stretched across an iron wheel. At the moment, it is marked only with concern.
An assassin sent by the Inquisition, my lady, daring to approach our camp.
If he's so poor an assassin as to approach an armed guard in daylight, I should have nothing to fear. I would hear what this man has to say. She stares him down until he can no longer face her. He turns away, sour-faced, watching you through sidelong glances, his knuckles white around the pommel of his sword.
Surely this is some trick of my mind. I did not expect to see you again.
Grand Inquisitor Theos Ixarkanon dispatched me here to spy on you. Are these things as desperate as that over there? I'd never known. I hope your next assignment is more stimulating. Listening to my lectures is dull work for a spy. It is special to have an old pupil return to me. I must have done something right, even after having taught so much that was wrong. Whatever your reasons, I've missed you all over these years. Having you here now at a time when I'm surrounded by strangers is a wonderful gift.
I would like for you to stay here in our camp as my guest.
My lady Ivara, I beg of you. This is an Inquisitor. This is a desperate attempt on your life. The only way it can succeed is if you allow it to.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. If I can't have faith in one man's ability to reason, once he knows the truth, what hope do we have?
My lady, he admits being a spy.
That should make him less of a threat, wouldn't you agree? I have nothing to hide. All I see here is an opportunity to persuade someone who could help us. We have many former missionaries here. They are our most loyal, our most helpful. Many have died for us. These are not people we should be turning away. And if the Inquisition wants my life, they can have it. But they know as well as I do that my cause will not die with me. Come. We have much to talk about.
Sayavara lady sounds like she's got
Course.
a lot of faith in human reasoning and persuasion. Right. Let's head here. Just for a moment. Plus, you know, I get experience for just exploring new areas. Could have actually maybe fought that
Blood
dragon,
Sands.
though.
This name was in the cards since my first layout of Andre's gift, really. While fleshing out its locations, I wanted to have a pirate's den of sorts, where even more seedy deals will go down. But we never had time to add that, so the name got resurrected while I planned the breakdown of locations for Twin Elms. Our lead area designer, Bobby Nol, wanted to have a sect of mostly dwarven druids somewhere in Twin Elms. Dark fellows, you know, obsessed with ritualistic sacrifices, and the name Blood Sands came to grace this half-dungeon, half-quest area almost by default. As with other locations of Twin Elms and Defiance Bay, we wanted to maximize our dungeon crawling space. Here you can merrily dispatch the entire sect of dwarves without angering too much, at least anyway, the tribes of Twin Elms. One of the gods' quests asks you to do precisely that in this area.
Alright, so there's another quest I could have done to wipe all these people out. A very interesting group of people. I never did that in my first playthrough. The Ethik Nol welcome your presence, supplicants. These are basically a group of... It's a druidic cult, is what it is. And this is Keeper Garost. A dwarven man stands motionless near the roaring fire that lights the cavern. Your sacrifice feeds the land, supplicants. Come forth. A gust of smoke curls around him, licking the charred flesh that bulges in his forearms. Then suddenly flex. Estremar, the dwarf holds his fist in a tight grip. Your kin doesn't come here to share with the tribes. What do you want? What is this place? Blood Sands. The dwarf picks up his scarred forearm. His guttural sigh mingles with the crackling wood and bones behind him. As I said, Estremar would rarely visit our halls. The Glanfathans call this place Blood Sands. We call it home. The Ethik Nol have tended the land from within this cave since before your arrival to the tribes of Twin Elms. Garost crosses his arms. Be warned, Estremar. We bleed life to nurture it. Our sacrifices may strike you as savage, but the health of these lands depend on them, and it's unseemly for guests to insult their hosts. Tell me about these sacrifices. Garost spreads his stocky legs apart and locks his forearms. Everything must die to return anew, Estremar. Through the sacrificial rites, we offer supplicants the honor of giving their most precious gift back to their brethren, back to the land. The dwarf lifts his fist, thick and mottled by red scars. The blood gives us strength. Even the Glanfathans have come to depend on the blood paint. They brim with power before battle, all thanks to the sacrifices of their kin. Tell me about the Ethik Nol. Our order has thrived for generations. Before we came to Twin Elms, our rites fed the lands of the eastern mountains. Now we shed blood for Air Glanfath. Garost opens his palm, strikes red skin, and run through them like flames. To sustain everything to that end, our sacrifices must bring a new beginning. He looks up. We sustain what's to come. All right, goodbye. Remember, Estremar, you're a guest in these halls. Respect our ways, and we'll tolerate your presence among us. You have a name? Let's talk to you. There is no greater honor than dying for one's tribe. If some fall in battle, how is this any different? Yeah, so these, this druidic cult, the Ethik Nol, they essentially, they perform ritualistic sacrifices, and they take the blood from the ritualistic sacrifices, if I'm remembering this correctly, and they use it to create face paint that they, the people wear into battle, especially the other tribes of the Glanfathan people. They're looked at as a bunch of crazy kooks, but, you know, they do like the war paint that they make for their tribes. But the ritualistic sacrifices are odd in the sense that people volunteer for it. Everyone that gets sacrificed has to choose to be sacrificed.
Hail, Estremor.
The elderly dwarf blinks at you, not quite looking at you. Her eyes are pale and clouded with cataracts. Welcome to the Blood Sands. It is rare that an Estremor sets foot in these caverns. Her sightless eyes fix on you as she tilts her head. What brings you here, I wonder? Tell me about Blood Sands. This is the raw, bloody heart of Erglanfath, where some come to give their essence back to their people. Her dry lips bend into a sardonic grin. Where others seek a noble escape from their trials. The legacy of the builders to the tribes was not merely Adra and stone, but a sense of community. And it is here that Glanfathans come to sacrifice what is most precious, even their own lives, to preserve it. Something more? What do you do here? I sell and maintain certain goods for the preservation of our order. I perform some of our ritual sacrifices. How do these sacrifices work? Like any worthwhile ritual, it's too complex to explain in detail. It involves clotting the supplicant's essence, binding it to their life's blood, and drawing it into a container or vessel. What do you have for sale? Flask of war paint. Binding the essence of sacrificed lives into a potent brew of blood and magic. War paint, crafted by the Ethik Nol, has empowered Glenfather warriors to perform great feats of strength and dexterity for hundreds of years. So this is basically blood and a person's soul infused in the blood. And, you know, it does actually help you in battle. So that's what the Ethik Nol does. And that's how it goes. So you can come back here. Listen, guys. I think these people are nuts. I think we should just quietly make our way out without any of them noticing. We're all in agreement? Okay, good. Let's go. Yeah, just checking around, look around. Nice. Hey, how you doing? Nice blight you got there. Oh, it's super fun. Yep. Love ritual sacrifices. It's a great time. Yep. Nothing weird going on here. Okay, cool. See you guys later, Garast. Bye. Have a nice day. Oh yeah. Okay, so I had to stop there because I think those people are absolutely bonkers, and I love that. Okay, that's gonna call it for today. That's the entire episode for now. What are we gonna do next? Let's see. We have to travel to Burial Isle after this, which is yonder way. We haven't been there yet, and once we are at Burial Isle, we'll be able to actually jump into this hole, I guess, or whatever, and hope that Hylias keeps me alive so that we can finally confront Theos and put an end to the Hollowbone crisis, or get myself saved. I don't even know everything that we're trying to do at this point, but yeah, getting close to the end of this main critical path playthrough. Thank you all, everyone, for joining in with me. If you want to get a hold of me, you can reach me on Twitter at Gingereno42 or at worldofeora. You can also email me, gingereno42@gmail.com or worldofeora@gmail.com. The World of Eora handles are related to the podcast I do, The World of Eora, which is a lore and news podcast for the Pillars of Eternity game, which you're seeing here, as well as Avowed for when it comes out. Thanks, everyone, for joining in today. Any comments or questions or criticisms or encouragements that you want to offer, please reach out. I love having conversations about this stuff. And I want to help people understand this world before the next game comes out. Thanks, everybody. As we like to do before I jump out, let's see if we have any new books. And we can read some lore. Some actual lore. Missives of the Handicult. That might be a good one. But I do want to see in the encyclopedia. Hey, honey, can you give me just a couple minutes? Thanks. No. Couple bucks. Missives of the Handicult. Yeah, I don't want to do that one. Aldrin of Jonas. Yeah, why not? Let's go with this one. This is Missives of the Handicult. This is essentially what you can consider scripture for someone who follows the god Wal. The god Wal being the god of dreams, mysteries, revelations, secrets. He's a god that is impossible, yet not impossible at the same time. He's an incredible enigma. The enigma, some would say. And this is a little bit of scripture from that. Dearest brother, or was it sister? May this letter find you in well spirits. A man of thuggish bearing stormed into my library the other day and demanded I help him find a book on the construction of an arquebus. I thought it proper to service to Wal to steer this man towards an illuminated manuscript on the subject of whittling toy soldiers and other miniature props. Unamused by my solution, I shrugged and said, "What is an answer without a question?" He did not find my spiritual rhetoric helpful or amusing, and he so punched out 2 of my teeth. I trust your summer has been less tumultuous than mine. In more important news, my apprentice claims he saw the eyeless face in a dream the other night. I admit I was so mad with envy that at first I refused to believe her. While forgive me for such a lapse of judgment. She described an Amawa of brilliant blue hues with a featureless face surrounded by a swarm of eyes, no 2 eyes alike. She claims Wal ignored her questions and she can't recall any specific of what was said. In fact, my apprentice seems to have forgotten many things since before the visitation. She could not tell me where she grew up or what she liked to eat. At first I was so envious of her having seen Val from my own eyes, but it seems Wal's visit was to conceal, not to illuminate. I pray she endures this test of faith and can look back at the event and feel the joy of mystery. What is an answer without a question? Last week I felt the solution was ignorance, but after Wal's visit I feel a road without length is closer to capturing the riddle. I worry my apprentice will look back after her visit from Wal and feel cheated, robbed of some moment of clarity we all thought we were owed when we first joined. I tried to tell her she was lucky, but she was too young to understand. What is an answer without a question? May I be dead and my soul scattered to the winds before anyone knows for certain. And that is a glimpse into the mind of a follower of Wal, the god of mysteries and secrets and revelations. Thanks everyone for joining. It's been fun. I will see you guys next time.